Into a room has a particular tempo, like someone chose the soundtrack before I showed up. And maybe they did, or maybe the soundtrack is just me walking. I don't look for the exit first, I look for the center. Then let everyone else catch up. There's a patience in the cool that most people mistake for not caring. The lens of every room I'm in adjusts itself without my asking, which means I'll walk like the credits are rolling on something worth watching. And the something worth watching is just the completely ordinary act of being here. I've been building this for years, not the image, not the surface, the actual thing underneath the surface that makes the surface impossible to ignore. The work, the choices, the refusals, the very specific accumulation of everything I decided to become, and everything I decided to leave at the door. And what's left after all that deciding is this clean, specific mind. And mine moves through the world like it was made for exactly this room, this moment, right now. Let the bass line follow every step you're in. You don't need the spotlight, you bring your own light. You don't need permission for the frame to be right. Every corridor is a runway when you know that what you're carrying is worth the show. Not for them, for the fact of being completely assembled, completely seen. The version of yourself that took the years to make, walking through the world for your own sake, with your chin at exactly the right height, credits roll at every scene in life. This is the main character, and the main character is you entirely tonight. Credits rolling, always work. Credits rolling on you. I don't do average, never did. I don't do halfway, never will. Whatever I touch gets a little more gold. That's not a boast, that's just what I'm told. By the evidence, look at the record, look at the room, look at who showed up and who's still going boom. Gold standard, that's the baseline I was built on, not the safety net, the ceiling that I split on my way through, because the ceiling felt like a dare, and I never met a dare I didn't wear. Like a good coat fitting sharp in mine, I press the crease myself and I'm doing fine, better than fine. I'm doing this specific thing that I decided I was gonna do in spring. Came round last year and I made a list of everything I wanted, and I haven't missed a single one. Ticked off and adding more. That's the standard, that's the pace, that's the particular grin on my particular face. When the thing I built lands exactly right. People ask me how I keep it up, the energy, the consistency, the showing up with levity, even on the hard days. And the answer is, I decided that the hard day is just fizz before the carbonation settles into clear, which takes about 20 minutes of being here, fully in it, not behind the glass of the bullseye, not the arrow that only grazes on the whole release of everything I practiced, everything I increased in the direction of better, which is not the destination. It's a weather system, it's a daily conversation between the person that I was and who I'm gonna be, and the conversation has been going well recently. I don't do average, never have. I don't do less than what I'm capable of, and what I'm capable of keeps expanding with the doing, and the doing keeps producing something new and bright and forward and completely mine. Every outcome landing on exactly the right line. That's not luck, that's the goal standing to apply. That's the work showing up on the outside. Look at the record, look at what it says. It says everything attempted at its best. That's the standard, that's the whole address. Go, gold standard, yo, standard, group always right. My gold standard, let's go. I walked in and the playlist changed its mind. Not because I asked it to, it just realigned. Something with a little more intention, a little more of the thing that doesn't need mention. Because it's visible in the posture and the pace, in the particular angle of the face that says I've been here before in the best sense. Not jaded, just fluent in the experience. Catch the light from every angle. That's mirrorball confidence. I've stopped apologizing for the space I take up. The literal, physical, metaphorical wake-up call to every room I'm in. Something's here that was not here before. Something bright and clear and completely uninterested in performing for anyone's comfort, anyone's norming of what the person in this space should be, which is smaller and quieter than me. Catch the light, bend the light, be the light. That's the only move tonight. You feeling it, all the way. Turn it up, ready to play. Lights on you, lights on me. On the floor, own it. Here we go. One more time, go. Body, body. Oh, when I move, the whole room moves with me. When I stop, the whole room wants to know why. When I laugh, it catches like a match in dry air. When I leave, the energy drops by half high. I'm not trying to be the center, I just am, which is a different thing entirely, ma'am. The mirror ball is every piece of light reflected off one surface, bright and brighter still. That's not a spotlight. That's a choice to be reflective rather than absorb the room, the night, the music, the whole world, and send it back as something more than it was worth before I walked in. That's the mirror ball, that's the confidence that catches at the door and keeps on catching all the way to the floor. Mirror ball all night. Mirror ball, bright, still going. Body, body, body. They always know when I'm coming before I say a word, before I'm through the door. Something in the air shifts its weight, and every everyone looks up to see what's more than what was already here. That's me. That's just consistently me. I don't overthink the entrance. I don't calculate the landing. I just come in at the temperature I'm at, which is warm and quick and understanding of the room, but not adjusted to it. The room adjusts to me instead. Not because I insist on it, but because I've stopped being in my head long enough to just be in my body, moving through the world at my natural pace, which turns out is exactly fast enough to catch things other people miss and place them in the conversation at exactly the right moment. And the moment knows it's mine, and the room can feel the arrive like weather coming in from the right direction. All sunshine. They always know when I'm coming. Before the door, before the room adjusts, something bright precedes me, like a rumor of a person who delivers what they discussed with themselves in private about being exactly this. That's consistently me. I used to edit myself before the arrival, turn down the volume, take up less of the space. But the edited version kept not surviving the first 5 minutes in any real place. So I stopped editing and started arriving fully, which is the only honest move. And honest turns out to be the coolest thing when it's honest about something as good as the groove of someone who has worked out who they are and brings that person everywhere they go. And the going is the whole thing, and the whole thing is already in motion, unstoppable and light, all forward momentum. Every room a new occasion, every entrance its own proof that the person who shows up consistent is the coolest thing. And the proof is in the looking up, the shift, the turn of heads that happens every time, which stopped surprising me a while ago and started feeling simply like the rhyme of cause and effect. Show up fully, get the room. They always know when I'm coming, because I'm always coming in at full. There's no reserve, no held back version, no carefully managed push and pull of the real me and the public me. One thing, moving through the world at speed and bright, arriving like the weather arrives without asking whether now's a good time, whether the light is flattering. The weather doesn't check, it just shows up and changes everything. And everything looks better in the after of someone arriving who knows what they bring. That's move, that's the whole strategy. Arrive like weather, bright, certain, free like weather, all the way like weather, every day. Oh, I'm already ahead of the game, already moving faster than the frame can capture. By the time they clock my pace, I'm 3 decisions further down the race. And the race is just the way I move through life. No friction, no resistance, edge like a knife. Through every morning up like you're known. Best foot forward isn't a saying for me, it's just the default set in factory installed when I decided that the halfway wasn't something I was going to stay comfortable with. I recalibrated everything I brought to what I rated as the standard I could live with looking back, and then I raised it and I never looked back. The result is this: a person at full speed who doesn't need to rush, because the speed is just the natural temperature of the thing. Easy does it when easy is your everything, and everything is exactly what you bring. People quote their confidence and think it's practice, which I understand. It has a look of tactics, but it's not a move, it's just the residue of someone who decided to pursue the best available version of the day consistently, which after a while the way you carry yourself changes without trying. The cool is just a byproduct of the applying yourself completely to whatever's in front of you, which turns out looks a lot like something cool. Easy does it when easy comes from work, and the work just turned into something that doesn't hurt, it just shines. Anything today, I'm just here at full capacity. The way I show up every time, which is completely turned toward whatever's happening keenly. In it, of it, present and precise. The coolest thing I do is show up twice, as awake as the room expects, which never fails to change the temperature of whatever sails my way next. Oh, I'm already 3 moves into the day, already finding the most interesting way through whatever the morning wants to throw. Already at the speed where things just flow from one good thing into the next good thing, into the thing after that, and the zing of it never gets old, because the game is never the same game twice. And the name of the game today is show up full, turn up bright, and turn up cool. Best foot forward, always was, always will. That's the whole philosophy. Go, never still. Forward. 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 Always. Forward. Right. Forward. Let's go. Best foot forward. Let's go. Because the shirt deserved it. I set the alarm because the morning earned it. I showed up 15 minutes early, not to impress, but because the version of me I prefer is the one that's ready before ready's required, the one that arrives already pre-inspired by the simple act of doing what I said I'd do the night before. When I went to bed, that follow through is the whole foundation, and the foundation holds up everything I'm building, and the building keeps on going up and up, and every floor I add I find I'm looking out at something better from the top. Dressed for where I'm going, not where I am, moving at the speed the morning recommends, sharp and forward, bright and unashamed. That's the whole momentum, that's the game. They see the shirt and the early and the smile, and they think that person makes it look worthwhile. Sharp dressed and moving fast down the corridor, which is one way to describe what I'm here for. But the real version is I just enjoy the motion of someone applied to their purpose with devotion, not grim devotion, the joyful kind, the kind where working hard and feeling fine are the exact same thing, which they can be when the work is work you genuinely wanna see. And the seeing it through not for what comes last. Sharp, moving, fast, fall there, let's go. Sharp dress, moving fast. I woke up feeling like the odds had shifted, like something in the overnight had lifted the ceiling by exactly the right amount to change the way the whole day comes to count. And counting is the wrong word. It's more like the day just handed me the keys and said drive. I don't have an explanation for the altitude, the particular and unreasonable aptitude for everything today. It's not a mood, it's a state of being unreasonably good. And unreasonably good is not a boast, it's just the honest report from the person at the most. The coffee landed right, the light came in at exactly the angle that makes me begin to feel like the protagonist of something bright. And bright protagonists are always right about the day, about the room, about what happens next. They just go and let the going be the text. I've decided that today belongs to the version of me that doesn't need the permission of circumstance or weather or the clock. That version just shows up and starts to rock the way a person rocks who's done the work and found the work produces its own quirk of confidence that isn't separate from the good. It is the good, and the good is understood by everyone who's in the room with it. And the room is very pleased to report that it has never felt this kind of bright before. Feeling good, unreasonably, all the way, unreasonably. Ready, ready, let's go, let's go. Turn it up, all the way, all the way. Here it comes, here it comes. Go, go, go. This is what unreasonably good feels like when the whole machine is running and the light is coming from inside as much as from the sun. And every single thing you touch is one before you touch it. That's the frequency of the person who decided to be free of the managed and the cautious and the waiting. Chose the wide open, chose the great version of the possible. Chose this unreasonably good and doesn't miss the careful version at all, not even a little, because the bright is solving every riddle. The dark ever posing, solving it by just being here, being fully, being trust in the unreasonable good that's always been waiting for you to let yourself begin. Unreasonably good, good, good. Unreasonably always. Unreasonably always. Watch the room recalibrate the second I walk in. Watch the conversation find a different kind of spin. Watch the whole thing lift a half a key from where it was. Not because I'm trying, that's just what presence does. When the presence is entirely, completely on. I know what I bring, and I bring all of it. Every single time without the etiquette that some people used to make themselves more palatable. I decided not palatable. Remarkable is the only thing worth being in a room where remarkable is available, which is every room I've ever walked into. adjustment always led to more, and more is what happens when nobody does it like this. When the doing is this specific and this full of the fizz of someone who decided that their whole way was the only way they had. Nobody does it like this. Watch the room recalibrate the second I walk in. Watch the conversation find a more electric spin. Watch the whole thing lift a full tone from where it was. Not because I'm trying, that's just what the doing does. When the doing is entirely, completely on. The thing about originality is this: you don't manufacture it, you don't dismiss the version of yourself that keeps insisting on existing, even when the existing seems inconvenient to the established frame of what is and isn't in the game. You let the inconvenient version through the door and let it be the one that you're living for, because that one is always the most interesting, and interesting is always the best swing. And swinging is what happens when nobody moves like this, when the moving is this light and this full of the bliss of someone who decided that their whole way is the best way they've got. Nobody moves like this. I am not done finding out what I can do, which means every room I'm in is also new, in the sense of what will happen here today that didn't happen the last time. What we'll say, something to the version of me that's still expanding past the edge of where I last left off landing. Watch the room recalibrate, watch it rise, watch the conversation reach for different skies. Watch the whole thing shift because I showed the whole of what I brought, and brought it with my whole soul. Not because I'm trying, that's just what truth does. When the truth is entirely, completely yours. Nobody does it like this, because nobody has ever been exactly this. The floors and ceilings of the room are made for something this specific and this bright and this alive, and this is what it looks like. This is it. Nobody does it like this. Nobody will, and nobody ever had to. Only me, and me is more than sufficient. Watch and see like this. Nobody like this. Nobody like this. Only me. Nobody does it, nobody does it like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, everybody's moving, but I'm moving differently. A little sharper, a little more specifically, toward the thing I want, with the speed and the grace of someone who decided they were gonna take the place right at the front, and the front is fine with that. Front of the pack isn't where I started, it's where I moved to when I got wholehearted about the direction, about the pace, about showing up with a specific face. Turn toward the goal and not the competition, because competing sideways blurs the vision. The only race worth running is the one between who I now and what I've begun to become, and the gap is closing fast. That's the pace, that's the place, that's the reason every room I enter feels this way. Right and moving forward all the time. I've been in rooms where everyone was sizing up the other people in the room instead of filling up their own potential to the edges of the glass, and I watched it and I said I'll pass on that particular version of the game. Comparison is expensive in the frame. It puts around your life, makes everything look smaller than it is. I'd rather be the caller of my own shots at my own pace toward my own prize. That's the pace, that's the craft, that's the reason every day feels like the first and the last. Right and worth it every single time. Happens to be everything, which is always the way. Right at the front, and the front is made of this, of showing up entirely, of not dismissing a single piece of what you brought. Full pack, full pace, bright, cool, and never looking back. Oh, 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 and never looking back. Front, front of the pack. Right here, front of the pack, let's go! I stopped hedging somewhere in the middle of last year. Stopped half saying things to keep my options clear for a retreat that I was never gonna take anyway. So I cleared the room and changed the way I play, which is completely visibly without the safety net of vagueness and the plausible deniable bet. I said the thing I meant and meant the thing I said, and the air got lighter, got warmer, got less complicated ahead. This is what it feels like when you stop holding back, when you go all in and don't protect the pack of cards you've been clutching to your chest. Just lay them on the table with the rest of everything you are, and watch I came in with a purpose and the purpose is clear. I'm not here by accident and I'm not here from fear. I'm here because this is exactly the room for the thing I've been building, and the building is in bloom. So watch me do what I came here to do. The preparation runs deep, you can't see it, but it's in every word and every beat of the person who arrives already knowing which direction they're going to send the showing of their full ability forward, completely forward, without apology or any reservation about the size of what they bring, which is large and specific, and everything they've assembled for exactly this occasion. That's the mood, that's the red, that's the difference between arrival and need to impress. I'm past impressing, I'm just here. There's a version of confidence that's loud, that announces itself to the assembled crowd. And then there's mine, which is just the motion of a person with complete devotion to the task, which makes a different sound. Not the bang of the entrance, but the ground shifting slightly as the weight of real preparation starts to do what preparation's deal always is: make the doing look inevitable. That's the way, that's the red, that's the years become the exact thing you need in exactly this moment right now. I made to show up early. Every night I stayed to get it right. Every room I walked into nervous and walked out having handled it right. Added up to this specific readiness, which looks like cool from the outside looking in, but from the inside feels like just arriving at exactly where I've always been going. The purpose, and the purpose is done. I showed up for the thing, and the thing has begun to resolve in exactly the direction I planned, which is forward, which is bright, which is grand. In the old sense, large and worthy attending to, and the attending is the whole of what I came to do. So here I am, exactly placed, exactly this. Nothing missing, nothing held back, nothing amiss. That's the cool that comes from being exactly right for exactly this moment on exactly this night. Exactly what I came to do every time. Exactly what I came to do. Done. Account for a Tuesday with no reason to be great, but somewhere in the overnight the volume got turned up to something I appreciate. Did the whole routine at triple speed, fed the cat before she had to ask, put my best playlist on the speaker and put on the day like it was a costume unmasked that actually fits this time. This is too much fun to stop, and I There's a channel I've been tuning to lately, where the signal comes in clean and completely different from the static I was getting before I recalibrated the setting. Locked in, signal clear. The frequency of yes is always broadcasting, but you have to point the receiver in the direction of the thing you're building, not the thing you're trying to retrieve from the past, which is already aired. Forward facing, always forward. I've been on the frequency of yes for going on 6 months, and the broadcast is continuous and loud and carries the frequency of yes into the forecast of every day ahead. It's the only station worth the tuning. Yes, yes, yes. That's the whole transmission. And the transmission has a groove to it, a particular and funky rhythm that makes everything a touch slightly better than it was before. The yes got in them, and the yes gets in through every open door, which means I keep the doors wide, which means the frequency keeps broadcasting, which means I wake up on the right side every morning, which is not an accident. It's a tuning choice I make before the day begins. Tuned in all the way, full volume, yes. On the frequency, on it, all the way, all the way. Signal clear, crystal, here we go, let's go. Volume up, maximum, ready, so ready. Here it comes, 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 here it comes. Yes. The frequency of yes in full effect. At every door I walk through is a direct connection to the signal I've been riding. The yes that keeps arriving and providing the exact right angle on the day, the exact right temperature to play. Everything at the level I decided is the level right, committed, undivided ascension to the channel of the good, the possible, the yes, the understood greatness of a person fully tuned to their own particular groove. Frequency, oh yes, that's the station, that's the whole bright, funky foundation. Yes, 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 yes. Frequency. Every second is a stage and I'm on it. Every room's a different game and I've won it. Before they start in pistol fires, I'm already moving like the moment is mine. And steady is not the word, steady is too small. Alive is more like it, alive through it all. I don't wait for the vibe to be right. I bring the vibe and the vibe becomes the night, which is a thing you learn by being wrong. About waiting, the waiting made me strong. In the wrong direction, strong at holding still, while everything I wanted was the thrill of the doing and the being in the thick of the alive. And the alive is quick, it goes if you don't meet it where it is. Meet it at the speed it's moving, on the moment. confidence I carry isn't heavy, it doesn't drag your lifts. It keeps me ready for the turn to change the unexpected. Floor beneath the expected, and the door that opens where the wall used to be, which happens constantly when you're free enough to see the wall is temporary and the door is already always nearly there. If you keep moving toward it, bright, move toward it, keep it moving on the whole ride. Slow me down with the weight of their uncertainty and frown of someone who confused caution for wisdom. And I said thank you when I brought my rhythm, and the rhythm changed the room's mind, which is all confidence really is. The willingness to keep your tempo in the face of someone else's quiz about whether you're allowed. Every second is a stage and I'm owning it. Every room's a different game and I'm running it. Not because I know the answers to the test, but because I show up bringing my best. And my best has a particular bounce to it, a particular bright that amounts to it, being the thing that moves the room along. When the room needs a push and needs a song that says yes, that says go, that says now, that says you already know how to own this moment. It's been yours the whole time, it was always yours. Every second, every stage, every room, own the moment, and the moment is in bloom. Own it. I've stopped second guessing the entrance, stop scanning for the temperature of the room. Before I bring my own, I just walk in at the temperature I'm carrying, which is warm and moving and specific enough to matter, which is all you ever need in a room. Something specific, something present, something that knows why it's in the room. And the room responds the way rooms do when the thing that arrived was worth the ride, and everything tilts slightly toward the new center of the room, which is the thriving version of a person who showed up full. That's the pull, that's the physics, that's just what happens when the capable does the thing it practiced. That's the bliss. I've watched the shift happen enough times to know it's not about the clothes or the lines I rehearsed on the way in. It's the underneath, the substance of the showing up, the wreath of everything I've actually done that follows me into the room and runs slightly ahead of me, announces without speaking. The room agrees and the room keeps seeking more of what I brought. And the room responds the way rooms always do when the thing that showed up knew exactly who it was. And knowing who you are at speed is the cleanest, brightest thing. That's the creed, that's the pull, that's the physics, that's the moment crystallized when capable meets ready. That's the practice, landing in the room, recognized. I stopped needing the room to tell me what I was was worth about a year ago, which is exactly when the room started. Reflecting back the thing I already know, that this is working, this is real, this is the version of the doing that produces its own evidence without my doing anything but moving. And the room responds to someone who arrived completely honest about the level of their game. And beyond the game, there's just the person and the promise they made themselves about the kind of cool they'd be when they grew into it. And here it is, grown into warm and actual. The room agrees, and so do I this year. The room agrees, the room agrees, always did. I just got here at 4. The room agrees. The room always did. Always did. I don't know how to move at anything less than the speed that makes the whole thing feel like yes. Like the purpose and the motion are the same. Like I was built for this particular game at this particular pace. And the pace is right. There's a setting I discovered in my 30s that I couldn't find before because it hurts a little to admit you were idling when you thought you were at full, but the bridling of the thing inside me was the problem, not a feature, not the wisdom of the slow, just friction I'd mistaken for good judgment, which was not letting go of the friction. Felt like falling, then like flying. And the flying has a name, and the name is living at the speed of good. Don't know how to move at anything less than the speed that makes the whole thing feel like yes. Like the purpose and the motion share a face. Like I was made for this specific pace at this particular altitude. And the view is bright. The view from here is very, very bright. I've been in rooms where everyone was careful, pacing themselves against an invisible ceiling that nobody built, but everyone was bowing under. And I found it divisible. From me, the ceiling, not my architecture. So I stopped including it in the count of what was possible and just went straight at the thing to the full amount of what I had, which was considerably more than the ceiling had been letting through the door. And the more is now the minimum, living at the speed that I was always made for. And the speed is There's a rhythm to the way I cross the street that has nothing to do with the tempo of the beat I put in my ears. It was there before the playlist, before the morning coffee. It's the latest version of something old or something mine that I've had since before I knew the line between performing and just being it. Just being it is the whole thing. Everything else is the getting there. People ask me what I'm listening to when I'm walking like the street belongs to me and everyone on it. And the answer is nothing, or the city, or the dancer in my chest that showed up uninvited about 10 years ago and got delighted with the rhythm of the forward and the free moves at a particular tempo that I didn't choose. It chose me. I've been told I walk like I know something, which I find charming because the something is just the quiet fact of being pointed in a direction I selected and appointed myself toward. That's just how I walk when the direction is the one I want. That's just how I walk. Specific and hurried and entirely in possession of the stride. A swagger isn't style, it's just the physics of a person whose intention and existence are aligned. And aligned has a particular gait that looks like confidence because it's straight ahead, not sideways, not apologetic, not performing for the room. Authentic motion in the direction of the thing, which is this, which is now, which is everything. And it walks exactly like this. And this is not a pose, not a practice. This is what the real thing looks like walking. This is what it looks like when the outside matches everything that's happening inside. When the posture and the purpose are the same word. When the walk becomes the clearest thing you've heard anyone say without saying anything. That's what I've been building. That's the spring in the step that's not performed. That's real, that's the whole specific bright appeal of moving through the world at your own pace with your own rhythm, your own grace. Not a sign, not borrowed, not applied, just the years of walking until the stride became the truest thing about you. And the truest thing is, this is how I walk, and how I walk is the whole talk, and the talk is worth the room's attention.